I know. Junk food isn't something we diabetics should eat many times a week. Why do I make a video where I talk about diabetics and junk food? It almost seems like I'm promoting the idea of consuming junk food on a daily basis. The answer to that is cravings. And sometimes we just want to eat an entire pizza, and ice cream, and soda. You can basically call me Trash Panda. I love eating trash. Pizza, pasta, oh my god, pasta. How good is pasta, man? It's so good. And kebab and everything, it's so dang good. And because we diabetics have cravings too, just like normal people that doesn't have diabetes. And that is why I want to share with you my tips and tricks from almost 2 decades of having type 1 diabetes. And hopefully after this video you might have a better chance at managing your blood sugars after those cravings have been satisfied. I actually ate an entire restaurant pizza just before this video, so we're gonna check my blood sugar right now, and then we're gonna check back on my blood sugar at the end of this video to see if I'm following my own steps. But you know what? Let's start this video. So, what about insulin? My first tip is to actually check with your doctor if he or she has given you the best advice for how to manage your blood sugar after eating heavy carb food. This might sound a little bit stupid and even a little self-explanatory, but you would be shocked of how many people I talk to on my diabetes Instagram, where I post funny memes, that shares with me that they are actually not going to a diabetes doctor or a diabetes nurse to get the best help and advice possible, which is something I highly recommend. This is something that I might take for granted. I live in Norway and our healthcare is pretty good when it comes to stuff like this, so that might be a reason why I'm so shocked when so many people tell me this. How is your healthcare in the country you live in? Watching this video, comment below and let me know. While this advice might sound self-explanatory and even a little dumb, you have to remember that something that is self-explanatory to you doesn't need to be for someone else. The real power of exercise, and I cannot stress this enough. I am still to this day, even after 20 years with type 1 diabetes, shocked on how big of an impact regular exercise has on my blood sugar. I often experience not having to take bolus insulin until the evening, even though I'm eating throughout the day, if I'm just doing regular exercise, like power walking or lifting heavy weights. The reason you want to do it on a regular basis in a system is because of the afterburn effect. This basically means that the effect of your exercise will actually bleed through several days in the future, impacting your blood sugar in a positive way. I'm not saying my body doesn't need insulin, of course it does, but I'm saying that I only need the hourly drip from my insulin pump. What I like to do, but this is just what works best for me, is to have a little bit higher hourly drip so that it's easier for me to regulate with lower bolus doses. Doesn't necessarily have to work for you. You have to, in contact with your diabetes specialist or doctor, agree on what is the best solution for you when it comes to your insulin pump or the dosages of your insulin pen. So my reasons for having a higher hourly drip is so I don't have to take those big, scary bolus doses. What I'm trying to say in this chapter is that with regular exercise, I can cut my insulin up to 60%, which is just mind-blowing. And it is way more easier to control your blood sugar with lower doses than it is with those scary high doses. Are you drinking enough water? I'm not saying that drinking water alone will reduce your blood sugar, because insulin is the only thing that can reduce your blood sugar directly. But water does help flushing your system while having those high blood sugars that often happens after junk food. We want to help our body as much as we want to during a high. I often drink up to 4 liters if I have a period of very high blood sugars. So my body can continuously flush my system, getting rid of those stored toxins that happens in your body while on a high. So don't make a bad situation worse with not drinking water. And it is very good, especially if you live in Norway. The underestimation of protein and fiber. Whenever I eat junk food, I try to choose the options that is high in fiber and high in protein. I like to call it minimizing the car crash. The car crash being the extreme high blood sugar after junk food intake. The nutritional sources of protein and fiber help slow down the absorption of carbohydrates in your body, helping you prevent those spikes that you see on your glucose meter. Try choosing leaner meat options in your junk food, like chicken or turkey or fish, even tofu. Try looking online for options in junk food where you can switch out some ingredients and replace them with more fiber and more protein. I will guarantee that you will see a huge difference in your blood sugar, especially those pesky spikes. Try an insulin pump. And in my first 16 years of having diabetes, I have always been against using an insulin pump. I didn't even try it before judging it. But I will say that I am still against pumps with a wire. This is only personal preference. You might have another opinion after trying it. Maybe we got some wired pump users watching this video. Please comment down below sharing your experience with a wired insulin pump. But for us who hates having wires on our body, there are some other options, like the one I'm using right here. It's called an Omnipod, and as you can see, it's not that big. It's of course a little visible, but who cares? And I could not be happier with my choice of choosing the Omnipod. I'm not advertising for Omnipod, I'm just sharing that it's great. The biggest change I noticed when I started using an insulin pod instead of insulin pens was to not have to take the basal long-term insulin anymore. And that's the reason I am pushing insulin pumps so much. Because with an insulin pump, you get an hourly drip of only fast-acting insulin the entire time. No long-term basal insulin needed. Insulin pumps come wired and wireless. A pump for every taste and every preference. So, there you have it. These were my best tips on how to deal with junk food after 20 years with diabetes. If you liked this video or felt that you learned something new, be sure to inject that subscribe button along with your insulin so that you can stay updated when my next video drops. And for you absolute legends who made it to the end of the video, I haven't forgotten about my promise. I will put an update right here how my blood sugar turned out 3 hours after I ate an entire restaurant pizza.